Most people think battles are fought with swords, fists, or loud arguments. But the most dangerous battles, they don't happen out there. They happen inside us. Have you ever had someone test your patience? Maybe it wasn't an obvious fight. Maybe it was a passive-aggressive comment at work, a friend's sarcastic jab, or even a partner's cold silence. They're not swinging swords at you. They're throwing tiny emotional daggers, and each of those daggers is designed for one purpose: to break your calm, to pull you into their storm. Why do they do it? Because deep down, they're fighting a war with themselves. Their chaos is spilling over, and they want company. Misery loves company, right? When you react, when you snap, when you let your emotions run wild, you become a puppet on their strings. They win. Because if they can pull you out of your center, they control you. But here's the secret the Stoics understood so well. The real battlefield is never the office, the dinner table, or social media. The true battlefield is your own mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Imagine standing in front of someone who insults you, who doubts you, who tries to provoke you. Most people would lash out immediately. Why? Because it feels good, at least for a second. It feels like you're defending yourself. But what if you didn't? What if you just stood there, still, looking them straight in the eyes, and you didn't give them what they wanted? You didn't flinch. You didn't yell. You didn't defend your ego. In that moment, you hold all the power. You show them, and more importantly, you show yourself, that you are not controlled by external chaos. You're not a slave to someone else's storm. I know, it's easier said than done. When someone pushes your buttons, your whole body wants to react. Your heart races, your face gets hot, your hands might shake. But what if, instead of being a volcano waiting to erupt, you became a mountain? Strong, silent, unmovable. They can throw insults, they can mock your silence, they can doubt your strength, but they can't move you. That's real strength. That's real power. We live in a world that celebrates loudness. Social media rewards outrage. News cycles thrive on conflict. But true warriors, true masters of themselves, don't need to shout to prove they're strong. They don't need to win every argument to feel worthy. They understand that reacting is easy. Anyone can lose their temper. But remaining calm, that's an art. That's a practice. That's the ultimate test of discipline. So next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, remember this: you are not there to match their chaos. You are there to remain whole. Your peace is your power. Your calmness is your crown. When you can stand firm in the middle of emotional hurricanes, when you can look someone in the eyes and remain unshaken, you've already won. Because the moment they realize they can't break you, they lose all power over you. And you rise higher. You become stronger. You become untouchable. When we think of strength, what comes to mind? Big muscles, loud voices, someone who dominates a room, demands respect, and isn't afraid to shout to get it? We live in a world that equates loudness with power. We see it on TV, in politics, even in our workplaces. The louder you are, the stronger people assume you must be. But that's not real strength, not even close. True strength, the kind that changes lives and inspires others, is silent. It's the ability to stand in front of disrespect, insults, and provocation, and not move an inch inside. Think about this. When someone mocks you or tries to humiliate you, what's your first instinct? Most of us want to fight back. We want to prove we're not weak. We want to show them we won't be pushed around. But here's the Stoic truth. The second you react with anger, you're giving away your power. You're letting them control you. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said it perfectly. Anyone capable of angering you becomes your master. Read that again. Let it sink in. If they can push your buttons, they own you in that moment. You become their puppet, dancing to their tune. You might think you're defending yourself, but really, you're surrendering control of your mind. Real strength is standing there, feeling the sting of the insult, feeling the heat rise in your chest, but refusing to be pulled into their storm. I remember a friend of mine once told me a story. He was at work, and his boss, frustrated with a project, started yelling at him in front of the whole team. Everyone else would have snapped back, or at least defended themselves, but he just stood there, calm, listening. When his boss finally stopped, he simply said, "Thank you for sharing your concerns. Let's find a solution." Guess what happened? The boss had nothing left to fight. The power struggle ended right there. The entire room shifted. People respected him even more. That's the power of calmness. That's real strength. When you can't be provoked, you're untouchable. You become a mountain. Storms can scream around you, lightning can strike, but you remain firm. People might not understand it at first. They might even call it weakness. But deep down, they feel it. They know it's a kind of power they don't possess. And it's not about being passive or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing your response consciously. It's about understanding that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Imagine how much energy you could save if you stopped reacting to every petty comment or every rude driver on the highway. How much peace you'd gain if you stopped letting other people decide your mood. It's easy to shout. It's easy to explode. That doesn't take discipline. What takes true inner strength is staying centered when the world tries to knock you off balance. Next time someone tries to get under your skin, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I about to give them my power? Or can I hold on to it and stay true to myself? You'll notice that people who try to provoke you are often deeply unhappy. Their insults are just reflections of their own inner chaos. Why should you join them in that chaos? You have nothing to prove. Real strength isn't about winning arguments. It's about winning your own mind. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no one else can pull you out of your peace. So next time someone tries to push you, remember, your silence is your armor, your calmness is your crown, and your ability to stay still, that's your real superpower. Because in the end, the strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who can look at disrespect straight in the eye and remain unmoved. Stay still, stay strong, and keep your power where it belongs, with you. Most of us think when someone attacks us, insults us, or tries to provoke us, it's about us. We feel personally targeted. Our instinct is to fight back, to prove them wrong, to show that we won't be pushed around. But here's a powerful truth. Their attack is rarely about you. It's about them. Think about it. When someone lashes out, what does it really say? It tells us they're at war inside themselves. They're carrying battles you can't see, insecurities, frustrations, inner chaos that's boiling over. It's like someone drowning in a pool. In their panic, they might grab onto anyone nearby, even pulling them underwater just to feel some sense of control. When someone tries to provoke you, they're just reaching out from their own pain, trying to drag you into their storm. And what do most people do? They jump right in. They argue, they yell, they match the anger with more anger. But in doing so, they surrender their peace. The Stoics teach us something radically different. They remind us, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. A disciplined person doesn't react blindly. They respond calmly and deliberately. There's a massive difference between reacting and responding. Reaction is instant, emotional, uncontrolled. It's a spark that sets everything on fire. Response, on the other hand, is measured. It's conscious. It's like a surgeon's steady hand, precise and controlled. I once saw a story online about a man on a train. Another passenger suddenly started shouting at him, calling him names, even trying to push him. The man didn't shout back. Instead, he stood still, looked at the other passenger with calm eyes, and said softly, "I hope your day gets better." Everyone on that train expected a fight. They expected drama, but instead, they saw unshakable composure. That man wasn't weak. He was powerful beyond words. In that moment, he chose not to become part of someone else's chaos. Imagine if we all lived this way. Imagine not letting every rude comment, every impatient driver, every angry customer steal our energy. When you live with discipline, you become like a fortress. People can bang on the walls, shout at the gates, but they can't break through unless you open the door from the inside. Ask yourself this: why do you feel the need to prove yourself to someone who's already lost control of themselves? Why waste your energy arguing with someone who isn't even listening, who's too trapped in their own emotions to understand reason? The disciplined person doesn't explode. They absorb, they breathe, they watch, and in doing so, they remain untouchable. This isn't about becoming passive or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing your battles with wisdom. It's about saving your strength for things that truly matter: your goals, your values, your growth. Every time you resist the urge to snap back, you train your mind to stay calm under pressure. You become stronger, more focused, and more in control of your life. In a world that tells you to always fight back, to always prove your worth, standing still and choosing peace is a revolutionary act. It's the ultimate power move. The next time someone tries to drag you into their chaos, ask yourself, do I really want to give them my peace? Do I really want to carry their battle on my shoulders? Remember, you don't owe anyone a reaction. You don't owe anyone your energy. Your calmness is your strength. Your ability to stay still while others spin in chaos is your ultimate freedom. The strongest warriors aren't the ones who win every fight. They're the ones who don't need to fight at all. Stay disciplined, stay unbothered, and watch how your life transforms when you stop letting other people write your story. We often think of anger as something natural, like it's just part of us. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you explode. A coworker undermines you in a meeting, and you feel the heat rising in your chest. It almost feels automatic, right? But what if I told you anger is not automatic at all? Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "A sword never kills anybody. It is a tool in the killer's hand." Think about that for a second. Anger is like that sword. It doesn't move on its own. It doesn't swing itself at people. It only becomes dangerous when you choose to pick it up and wield it. When someone provokes you, they're not handing you a weapon. They're offering you one. You get to decide whether you take it or let it fall. Imagine you're walking through a market and someone offers you a rotten apple. Do you have to take it? Of course not. You can just smile and keep walking. Anger works the same way. When someone insults you, criticizes you unfairly, or tries to bait you into a fight, they're offering you an emotional, rotten apple. You can accept it and take a bite, or you can walk away, untouched. The problem is, we've been conditioned to believe that getting angry makes us strong. We see it in movies all the time. The hero gets mad, smashes everything, and somehow looks powerful doing it. But in real life, anger usually makes us look foolish. It makes us say things we regret, hurt people we care about, and destroy opportunities we've worked hard to build. I remember a time when I was in line at a coffee shop. The person in front of me was taking forever, changing their order, asking a million questions, completely unaware of the growing line behind them. I felt the irritation start to build. My mind was screaming, "Say something! Hurry them up!" But then I remembered. That irritation wasn't something they forced on me. It was something I was picking up voluntarily. I decided to breathe instead. I looked around, took in the moment, and realized it wasn't worth it. By the time I got my coffee, I felt proud, not drained. I had chosen peace over pointless frustration. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you're not hurt. It's about recognizing that your mind has the final say. You always have a choice. Epictetus, another Stoic giant, taught that external events don't disturb us. It's our judgments about them that do. If someone flips you off on the road, that's just a hand gesture. You decide whether it ruins your whole day. Imagine how much stronger you'd feel if you didn't let every small annoyance steal your energy. How much calmer you'd be if you realized that anger is a tool you don't have to use. People think strength is about fighting back, throwing punches, raising your voice. But true strength is sitting with that fire inside you and deciding not to throw it at anyone. It doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you act with intention. You respond only when necessary, and even then, you choose how. So next time someone pushes your buttons, take a second. Ask yourself, am I picking up the sword they're handing me, or can I leave it where it is? Your power lies in your choice, and every time you choose calm over chaos, you win a silent battle they don't even see. Remember, anger isn't born inside you, it's offered to you, and only you, get to decide whether to carry it or to let it drop. Stay still, stay strong, and never let anyone else put a sword in your hand unless you decide it's truly worth the fight. Have you ever noticed that when someone can't shake you, they get even more desperate? It's almost like your calmness terrifies them more than any angry comeback ever could. Most people expect a reaction. They thrive on it. When they throw a rude comment at you, they're waiting for your face to turn red, for you to raise your voice, for you to break your cool. Because if they can get that, it means they've pulled you into their chaos. But what if you didn't play along? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, and a Roman emperor, by the way, once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In other words, nothing outside you can truly hurt you unless you allow it to. It's not the words themselves. It's not the gesture. It's your interpretation that turns them into pain. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a raging storm. The winds are howling, the rain is slamming down. Most people would try to fight the storm, yelling into the wind, flailing their arms, thinking they can somehow push it back. But you stand there, grounded. You let the storm pass around you. You don't try to control it because you know it's not yours to control. That's what it's like when you refuse to react to other people's chaos. You stand in stillness, and they lose their power over you. I remember a time when someone at a family dinner kept throwing little jabs at me, questioning my life choices, mocking my goals. In the past, I would have fired back, defended myself, tried to win the argument. But this time, I just smiled. I listened. I let them talk. And you know what happened? They ran out of energy. They looked silly. Everyone else at the table started to see who really had control over themselves and who didn't. When you don't react, you force the other person to face their own noise. It's like throwing a punch at a ghost. There's nothing there to hit. They can't win a fight you refuse to enter. But here's the hard part. Staying calm doesn't always feel good in the moment. Your ego wants to jump in. It wants to defend your honor, prove you're right, show that you're strong. But true strength doesn't need to be proven. It just is. Your calmness is not weakness. It's your hidden armor. It protects your energy, your focus, and your peace. It shows that you own your mind, no one else. Think about the times you lost your cool. Did it ever make the situation better? Did yelling at that driver fix the traffic? Did shouting back at your coworker make them respect you more? The answer is almost always no. Every time you react to chaos, you give it power. You give away a piece of yourself. But when you choose not to respond, you keep your power where it belongs, with you. Next time someone tries to drag you into their emotional hurricane, pause. Ask yourself, is this storm really mine to fight? Or can I just let it pass? That single moment of awareness can change everything. It can turn a potential argument into a moment of quiet strength. Because here's the secret. People can't control you if you don't give them the keys. They can't shake you if you don't step onto their battlefield. When you stay calm, you become a mirror. They see themselves, their own chaos reflected back at them. And that's a power they can't handle. So, be the calm in the storm. Be the silent mountain in the middle of their noise. Because when you stop responding to chaos, you don't just protect your peace, you inspire others to find theirs too. We live in a world obsessed with approval. Think about it. Every day we chase likes, comments, compliments, that subtle nod from our boss, or that small validation from our friends. We're wired to believe that other people's recognition is the ultimate prize. But what if I told you the real victory isn't in being seen or praised by others? It's in mastering yourself. That's the real game. That's the real win. The Stoics taught us that true strength doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come from applause or trophies or even respect from others. It comes from discipline, the quiet kind, the kind no one sees. When someone criticizes you, when they mock you, when they try to drag you into their fire, most people think the only options are to fight back or to run away. But there's another path. The path of the mountain. A mountain doesn't move when the wind howls. It doesn't crumble when the storm hits. It stands, solid and grounded, no matter how wild the world around it becomes. Imagine if you could be like that. When someone tries to pull you into their drama, you don't have to react. You don't have to match their chaos. You can just stand there, calm and centered. And in that stillness, you show a strength more powerful than any words or fists. I remember a time when a close friend completely misunderstood me. He accused me of things I didn't do. In the past, I would have jumped to defend myself, tried to prove I was right, argued until I lost my voice. But this time, I chose to stay still. I listened. I didn't let his fire light mine. And you know what happened? I didn't lose anything. In fact, I gained everything: my peace, my energy, my self-respect. People think silence means weakness, but that's a lie. Silence can be the loudest statement you ever make. When you don't flinch, when you don't waver, you show that you're not controlled by the outside world. You show that you are rooted, unshakable. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." Your focus shouldn't be on their approval. Your focus should be on your own discipline. How strong can you be when no one is watching? How calm can you stay when the world is screaming at you to react? You are not here to convince them. You are not here to win their applause. You are here to master yourself. Every time you refuse to get pulled into someone else's fire, you become stronger. Every time you hold your ground, you become more like that mountain. Firm, steady, immovable. Ask yourself, who are you when no one is cheering you on? Who are you when the storm is loudest? The answer to those questions defines your true strength. Next time someone throws shade at you, tries to belittle you or provoke you, picture a mountain. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how many times lightning strikes, it stands. Be that mountain. Stand tall, stand silent. Let them shout, let them try to pull you down. You stay rooted in your values, in your principles, in your calm. Because at the end of the day, the only victory worth winning is over yourself. That's the victory no one can take away from you. So stop chasing their approval. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't even know your journey. Choose discipline. Choose self-respect. Choose to be the mountain. And when the storm passes, because it always does, you'll still be standing, stronger, calmer, unmoved. There's a kind of battle going on around us every single day, but it's not the one you see on the news or in some action movie. It's a quiet, invisible war, the battle for your mind, your emotions, your inner peace. Most people don't even realize it's happening. They think the real fight is out there, at work, on social media, in traffic, or in heated arguments with family and friends. But the real fight? It's inside you. Every time someone provokes you, every time someone tries to drag you into their chaos, they're inviting you to step onto their battlefield. They're hoping you'll drop your calm, throw down your crown, and get lost in the noise with them. But here's the truth. The most powerful victories are the ones no one ever sees. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." In other words, adversity isn't a curse. It's a chance to show who you really are. When someone insults you and you stay silent, that's a victory. When someone disrespects you and you stay grounded, that's a victory. When someone tries to light your fuse and you choose to breathe instead, that's a victory. These are silent wins. No medals, no applause. No one else might even notice. But you know. And that's what matters. Think about a time when you lost your cool. Maybe you yelled at a coworker, or snapped at your partner, or fired back at someone online. How did you feel afterward? You might have felt powerful for a split second. But then, probably drained, embarrassed, even regretful. Now think about a time you held your ground. You didn't react. You stayed composed even when everything inside you screamed to fight back. That's the moment you proved your real strength. It's easy to fight loud battles. Anyone can throw a punch or type an angry comment. But the silent battles, the ones inside, that's where the strongest warriors live. Imagine being in a heated meeting where everyone is shouting over each other. You sit there, listening, observing, not taking the bait. You speak only when necessary, and when you do, your words carry weight. You become the calm in the storm, the eye in the hurricane. Every second you don't react, you're building a fortress inside yourself. You're training your mind, strengthening your spirit, proving to yourself that you are not controlled by anyone else's chaos. These invisible victories might not look glamorous, but over time, they transform you. They make you someone unshakable, someone others quietly respect, even if they don't admit it. Ask yourself, who do you admire more? The person who explodes at every inconvenience, or the one who stays steady when everything falls apart? Strength isn't loud. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's just a quiet breath in a tense room, a soft no when everything is pushing you to say yes, a calm smile when someone throws fire your way. So next time you feel that urge to react, that itch to fight back, pause. Remind yourself, every second I don't react is a second I win. And these small, silent victories, they stack up, day by day, until one day you look in the mirror and see a person who can't be provoked, a person who owns their mind and their heart completely. That's the ultimate freedom. That's the victory no one can steal from you. Stay still, stay powerful, and keep winning the wars no one else can see. Let's be honest, silence is hard. We live in a world that celebrates noise. We're taught to clap back, to defend every opinion, to jump into every fight. We think if we're not loud, we're weak. But what if the opposite is true? What if silence is actually the highest form of strength? There's a hidden power in not reacting. When you stay silent in the face of disrespect, you're not losing. You're winning a war they don't even know exists. Think about it. It's easy to yell, to slam doors, to throw out that snarky comment. But to hold your tongue when every part of you wants to strike back, that's rare. That's real mastery. In your silence, there is dominance. In your stillness, there is strength. And in your restraint, there is something almost untouchable. You become like a fortress, unbreakable, unmovable. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Hold fast to your principles in the face of mockery and never be shaken." Imagine being a giant stone in a river. The water crashes against you, day and night, year after year, but you stand firm. You let the waves hit, but they never move you. When people attack you with words or try to provoke you, they're swinging wildly at shadows. They think they're hitting something solid, but in reality, they're fighting against air. And the more you don't react, the more powerless they feel. You're not here to prove yourself to them. You're here to master yourself. That's the real mission. I remember a time I was criticized harshly online. My first instinct? Fire back. Prove them wrong. Defend my pride. But then I paused. I asked myself, what do I actually gain by answering this? Nothing. So I stayed silent. And that silence felt like an impenetrable shield. Over time, I realized that not engaging wasn't weakness, it was freedom. Every moment you stay silent when provoked, you strengthen your inner foundation. You build a life that no insult, no rumor, no cheap shot can shake. They want you to react because your reaction gives them power. It gives them proof they can control you. But when you don't react, they're left swinging at empty space. That is true power. It doesn't mean you never speak up or defend yourself when it truly matters. It means you choose your battles with wisdom. You don't let every comment, every glance, every piece of noise steal your peace. Ask yourself, how often do I trade my peace for temporary satisfaction? How often do I give up my inner calm just to win an argument that doesn't even matter? When you learn to keep your silence, you learn to protect your energy. You stop living life like a candle in the wind, flickering with every breeze. You become a mountain, calm, solid, unwavering. Let them shout. Let them throw stones. Let them try to pull you into their chaos. You stand still. You become the rock that doesn't move. Because at the end of the day, the loudest voice in the room isn't always the strongest. The person who holds their silence holds the ultimate weapon, self-mastery. So next time you feel that urge to react, remember this. It's easy to explode. It's easy to lash out. But it's in silence that you show real strength. Stay still, stay silent, and let them fight their own shadows.